The modern global economy runs on a surprisingly fragile network of narrow waterways. Nearly every consumer good, component, and barrel of oil relies on a few specific, highly congested maritime corridors to reach its destination. When you look at the scale of a vessel like the Ever Given, wedged completely across the Suez Canal, you see the physical limits of this system. A single blockage in these Middle Eastern bottlenecks triggers a cascading failure across global supply chains. Even when these equatorial routes are flowing smoothly, they are slow. Moving a standard container from a port in East Asia to Northern Europe requires about 34 days of continuous sailing. Because the entire system hangs on these few geographical pinch points, finding a viable alternative route instantly becomes a matter of supreme strategic value. A shift in tone. At the top of the world, a dramatic geographical shift is underway as the polar ice cap fractures, leaving thousands of miles of open water in its wake. This map illustrates the Northern Sea Route, a newly accessible maritime corridor that hugs the northern coast of Russia. While the traditional Suez journey takes 34 days, a ship taking this northern shortcut completes the exact same trip in just 20. Shaving 2 weeks off transit time saves millions of dollars in fuel and operational costs per voyage. For the shipping industry, this is the ultimate logistical optimization. This logistical vacuum has triggered a new superpower race for geographical control, a contest where the physical tools for entry are ones the United States is currently struggling to field. Traversing this route still requires brute force. The ice cover remains a constant threat, and navigating it safely demands thick steel and specialized ships designed specifically to crush through the frozen ocean. Russia has turned this physical requirement into a strategic advantage. They operate a fleet of over 40 heavily equipped icebreakers, including immense nuclear-powered vessels like this Arctica-class ship. China is capitalizing on this infrastructure. Despite having no Arctic territory, Beijing is pouring billions into a polar Silk Road, sending commercial cargo fleets to follow directly in the cleared paths provided by Russian escorts. In contrast, the United States Coast Guard currently maintains exactly 2 functional heavy icebreakers. Both are aging designs, stretched far beyond their intended service lives. The math in the Arctic is absolute. If a nation lacks a modern fleet of ice-capable ships, it lacks physical access, effectively locking that power out of the water. Moscow's strategy extends far beyond commercial shipping. They are rapidly turning their northern coastline into a fortified military corridor. Across the Siberian coast and scattered Arctic islands, the Russian military is actively reopening and modernizing dozens of abandoned Cold War-era outposts. They are outfitting these bases with a continuous network of coastal radar systems, like this one, ensuring they can track every movement above the water. Below the surface, they are deploying advanced submarines armed with hypersonic missiles, supported on land by specialized infantry trained for high-intensity winter warfare. Russia is constructing an exclusionary, heavily armed toll booth, a maritime corridor where they alone have the power to gatekeep traffic. By 2030, continued ice reduction will transition the Northern Sea Route from an experimental path into a primary, year-round artery of world commerce. The fundamental law of geopolitics remains. Whoever controls the transit routes of global trade wields ultimate influence over the global economy. Because the United States has largely ignored the hardware and the military presence required to operate here, it is positioned to lose significant economic leverage in the coming decades. Instead, the aligning interests of Moscow and Beijing are forming a combined logistical and military monopoly over an entirely new geographic frontier. The melting Arctic marks a significant transfer of economic power. By outbuilding and outdeploying the West, rival powers are positioning themselves to dictate the terms of global trade for the next generation.